I'm Myriam.
And I'm Elyse. Two friends bound by the love of books.
Taking on the world one chapter at a time. This is the Book Bound Besties podcast. Hey, Book Bound Besties! Welcome to season 2! We are so excited to be back, even though we really have not been gone for long.
Yeah, didn't take much of a break.
No.
But we just wanted to jump into the next one. We loved doing season 1, and there is so many more things to talk about.
Absolutely. So this season, we will be covering Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros, but we're doing things a little bit differently than we did for season 1. Okay. We learned so much in our first couple months of podcasting, and there are some things that we love and we want to continue bringing to you guys, but then there's some things that we think we can definitely improve on.
Yeah.
So why don't we talk a little bit about that?
Yeah.
So the first thing that we are going to be doing that is the same is Elyse will still have not read this book. I have officially lost the lobby. We've heard from many of our listeners saying that they love this dynamic. Yeah. So I will just have to keep it on with this poker face.
Yeah.
And yeah, it'll allow Elyse to have some really fun
and I'll keep
reactions.
My reactions genuine, and I'm going to still hide under a rock and avoid spoilers and all that.
Yeah, so. More power to you. I don't think I could do it if I were in your shoes.
That's why we work so well together.
No, I know. I mean, I finished this book, I think, in like 2 days.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, I don't know for you. Anyway. Too bad.
Too bad.
Elyse, why don't you tell our listeners what we're going to be doing a little bit differently this season?
Okay, so this season, what we're doing differently is our chapters per episode has changed. So last season we covered 3 chapters an episode. This season we're going to cover 5 chapters an episode.
Which sounds kind of scary.
It does. However, there is only about 100-ish more pages in this book.
Yeah.
So it's not like the page number, our weekly page numbers are really going to increase that much. It's just there's a lot more chapters. So shorter chapters, we're going to cover 5 of them.
Yeah.
And we think that'll just help keep the pace.
Yeah, exactly. So a lot of the feedback for Iron Flame is that it's a book that's going to be setting up the rest of the series. Mm-hmm. So a lot happens in this book, but I feel like not as much as Fourth Wing. So I don't think it's too overwhelming for us to do those 5 chapters.
Right.
We also have heard the feedback. We are not going to be having 2-hour-long episodes.
Yes.
So no stress.
Yeah, just because it's more chapters doesn't mean longer episodes.
Exactly.
Everything will pretty much be the same. There's just shorter chapters.
Exactly. We're still going to summarize. Elyse is going to grace us with her wonderful synopses. We're going to summarize each chapter. We're going to discuss what we think is important information. We're going to discuss potential foreshadowing. We're going to be parking things in the back of our minds. Mm-hmm. We are going to talk about the vibes and the things we liked and we didn't like and all that fun stuff. We're still going to do our awards for funniest, most romantic, and spiciest lines. But let's be real. If it is me, it is going to be like a passage of the book because I can never just pick a single line. And we're going to hopefully answer some lingering questions Elyse has after finishing Fourth Wing. You want to...
Yeah, I mean, we were left with so many unanswered questions. Like, we have little nuggets here and there, but there's still so much to learn about the world and the government and everything. And again, I don't know how, but I've managed to avoid knowing what is in Iron Flame, so I'm going in blind. But here are some of the things I noted that I still have that was still left unanswered. So, biggest one, I think, for me is, who is the sage of the Venin?
Okay.
So I had mentioned, I had a mini panic and thinking it was Brennan.
Yeah.
Which, really grateful it is not. But that leaves, the question, who is it?
Yeah. I'm really surprised that that's your biggest question because I would think your biggest question is, what the heck happened with Brennan? And how is he still alive?
That's so funny. I didn't even question it.
That's hilarious. Okay.
I don't know. I guess I didn't question it because the story we were given anyway is that his friend, partner, whatever, saved his life. Mm-hmm. And knowing what they know now, I totally understand Brendan being like, peace. And I'm going to join the revolution.
Yeah. Okay. Keep going. What are your other questions?
Why did Andarna grow so fast? Like in 3 days.
Yep.
Insanity. So now we have two
Giant dragons.
whole dragons for Violet.
Yeah.
Pretty spectacular. Another big one is what's next? Like, will they go back to Bisgayeth? I touched a little bit upon it a few episodes ago, just saying like, I don't think I would go back. Like, I was feeling all the emotions and rage of the betrayal.
Yeah.
So I was just like, screw their society. Like, don't go back. Let them think you're dead. But I have been thinking a lot about it since. And like, sometimes it's better to be on the inside to tear things down. So I could understand going back, but I don't know. I don't know if they do.
Okay.
There's potential on both paths. So next, did Lilith know about the trap that Colonel Atos set?
That's a big question.
That is a big question. I haven't liked her from page 1. And she has like been very, very cold towards Violet, but it just seems insane to do that to your child and let it happen.
TBD?
TBD. Will Dane have a redemption arc?
This is a controversial one.
It is a controversial one. You asked me if I think he could have redemption. And again, I was in the throes of betrayal and was very angry. And I was like, absolutely not. Unless he swoops in right now and saves everyone.
Which he did not do.
Which he did not do. He will never be redeemed. I think it's going to take a lot to redeem himself. He's dealt some of the lowest blows anyone could. Like, it's absolutely gut-wrenching what he has done to Violet. It's a big betrayal, so I don't know. I'm open to seeing if there is a potential redemption. Whether or not I buy it, that'll be a story for a different day.
Okay.
Also, I'm wondering what is in that box that... Was it Garrick's dragon?
Yep.
The rune box that
Yep.
Garrick's dragon was trying to open or attracted to or whatever. What is it? Does it have... It might be insignificant, but she's pretty good at not writing things for no reason.
That's true.
And then finally, just how are the friends doing? What about the friend crew? We want to know what's going on with Riddick and Rhiannon and all the rest of the Bisgayeth crew that's just been doing their own.
They have no idea what's gone on for the last few days.
Yeah.
They don't even know, about the venin and
they don't
all
know
this.
anything. They were playing war games while Violet was at war.
Ooh, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
It just came to me. But it's just, we haven't heard or seen anything from that side.
Okay.
And we love those characters, so I'm very curious to know.
Okay, what are you hoping for? Other than getting these questions answered,
Yeah.
what are you hoping for in Iron Flame?
One of the biggest things I'm hoping for is just learning more about the history of the Venin. Now that we know that these fables are not just fables, I really want to know the story of like the Venin and the Wyvern and the brothers and how the Venin have gained this much power over the last however many years and what has been going on south of the border. Like, there's so much left unanswered, and it's just because we haven't known about it. And so now that we know about it, I'm like, okay, but why? And I like to know like why people do things they do and the history and like I'm a big why person, so I need to know that history. But we will see.
We will see indeed. What about the relationship between Violet and Xaden?
I mean, I think they'll come around. I think Violet needs time, but how could you deny Xaden forever? Let's be honest.
Okay. Do you think Mira will find out about basically the truth her siblings now know? Mm-hmm. And do you think she will, like, how do you think she'll react to it?
That is a very good question. I mean, I think eventually the truth is going to come out.
Okay.
To everybody.
Okay. Something
this big has been brewing for so long, it eventually will infringe on the borders. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. You mentioned it. Like, Mira has drank that Kool-Aid. So I don't, even knowing what Violet and Brennan know, I don't know if, will it be enough to waiver her? I don't know. I would like to think she would, obviously, because I want what's best for everyone, but based on how deep she is in the Navarian society, I don't know if she would waiver.
Interesting. Okay. Love that. Mm-hmm. We're gonna take note of all of these questions you have and your hopes and dreams for Iron Flame. And hopefully we will come back to them and answer them, or, those hopes will come to fruition. Yeah. In the meantime, I am going to read you a couple things.
Yes.
Should I read you? There's a quote on the back of the book, and then there's the synopsis. Mm-hmm. What would you like first?
Last time I think we did quote first, didn't we?
Okay, so I'll read you the quote first. It's not a quote. Yes, the last time I did, there was an excerpt. There's no excerpt.
Okay.
This is just a quote.
Okay.
The quote comes from Griffins of Paromial, A Study in Combat by Major Garion Savoy. Though Griffin riders are not capable of producing signets, they are not powerless. Underestimating them is an error. So we did see towards the end of Fourth Wing an alliance of sorts between dragon riders and griffin flyers. And note here that this quote is calling them griffin riders, which is incorrect, as Xaden pointed out.
They're called flyers. Yes.
They're called flyers. So clearly Major Garion Savoy is Navarian because he doesn't know the lingo properly.
Right.
So, okay, little hint, we're going to be getting more griffins.
Right.
Let's look at the synopsis. So, the synopsis opens with a quote from Xaden Ryerson. And the quote is, "The first year is when some of us lose our lives. The second year is when the rest of us lose our humanity."
Oof.
Okay. Synopsis begins. Everyone expected Violet Soaringale to die during her first year at Basgiath War College, Violet included. But threshing was only the first impossible task, meant to weed out the weak-willed, the unworthy, and the unlucky. Now the real training begins, and Violet's already wondering how she'll get through. It's not just that it's grueling and maliciously brutal, or even that it's designed to stretch the rider's capacity for pain beyond endurance. It's the new vice commandant who's made it his personal mission to teach Violet exactly how powerless she is, unless she betrays the man she loves. Although Violet's body might be weaker and frailer than everyone else's, she still has her wits and a will of iron. And leadership is forgetting the most important lesson Basgiath has taught her. Dragon riders make their own rules. But a determination to survive won't be enough this year, because Violet knows the real secret hidden for centuries at Basgiath War College. And nothing, not even dragonfire, may be enough to save them in the end.
Wow.
Okay.
I guess they go back.
The tagline for this book is "Burn it down."
Yes, Violet, burn it down. That's interesting. The last part saying not even dragonfire could save them, or
no, the dragonfire cannot save them, because we know that dragonfire doesn't kill
exactly.
venom.
So
exactly.
Obviously, we're getting into it with the venom again.
Yeah.
Who's this new vice commandant?
He's not nice.
Doesn't sound like it.
Yeah.
Sounds like he's
very mean.
grilling Violet real hard.
Yeah, exactly. You're right. There is that question about whether or not they're going to go back to Basgiath, and it's hinted that they do. Honestly, this synopsis doesn't really tell us much.
No, it doesn't.
When I think of what really happens in this book, it really doesn't tell us much. So we're just comparing now the maps from Fourth Wing and Iron Flame. Doesn't look very different. Okay, the veil is missing in Fourth Wing. The Iron Flame map is a little bit more detailed, which makes sense.
There's more town names.
Yeah.
So there's Samara, Anka.
Well, there's more details within Paromial. Mm-hmm. That's for sure. I think Navarre is just as detailed as Fourth Wing.
Basically, we have a couple extra town names on the Iron Flame map, which makes sense because you would think the world building is getting a bit bigger, and we're probably getting in a little bit more details about what outside of the Navarian walls.
For sure,
right?
For sure. And this can indicate, so I guess this is a minor spoiler for ACOTAR, but if you look at the maps within each ACOTAR book, the map grows.
Right.
So
yes, it does.
As the world grows, as more happens, the map is more detailed, and it's the same thing here. So you can assume that because we're seeing some Paromial towns, maybe we're going to visit Paromial.
Right. Exciting.
Yeah. All right. So we will be back next week with Season 2, Episode 1, where we will be covering chapters 1 through 5 of Iron Flame. Set new episodes to download so that you can be sure to get them as soon as they come out. And if you haven't gotten your hands on a copy of Iron Flame just yet, head to our Amazon storefront where you could
pick up a copy and help support the show.
Yep, and it'll come in no time if you have Amazon Prime.
True.
Thank you so much for listening. Please rate this podcast and leave a review. It'll help other people find us. Send this episode to your friends who have read Iron Flame and who might just want to geek out a little bit more along with us. We are getting so many great comments and messages from some listeners about how they listen to this with their friends, or them and their friends aren't at the same stage of having read these books, so they feel like they don't have someone to talk to. We are those people. I know exactly what that feels like. I still know exactly what that feels like because Elyse has not read the book. So feel free to reach out to us on Instagram at Book Bound Pod or TikTok at Book Bound Besties. You can tag us in your reaction videos on either platform. If you have any questions, comments, or feedback, you can email us at bookboundpod@gmail.com. By the way, we still have the 15% off discount with Smoke Show. The link is in the show notes. And that's it.
Yeah.
It's like I'm out of practice, but I'm not out of practice. Oh well. See you all for Season 2 next week.
Yeah.
Let's get to reading.